A Bay Area woman who was smuggled across the U.S.-Mexico border as a child is sharing her harrowing story. As Len Ramirez reports, she is now helping others find their path to citizenship.
Andrea Orea sees America's confusing and sometimes chaotic immigration system from a front row seat.
¿Para qué tipo de caso?
And as Director of Immigrant Services for Catholic Charities of San Francisco, her team helps clients navigate a broken system.
That's one case.
But she sometimes has to give them bad news.
And if she's been ordered removed, that's pretty much it.
The empathy she has for new immigrants comes from inside, inspired by her own harrowing story crossing the border as a 5-year-old without her parents.
So one day they just told me, you're leaving with this lady.
Andrea was born into poverty in Puebla, Mexico. She grew up not knowing her father, who was already in the U.S. because his father was a guest worker in the Bracero program in the 1960s. To reunite the family, Andrea flew with her mother to Tijuana. Then arrangements were made to send her in a car over the busy border crossing with a smuggler. Her mother hired a woman who posed as a nanny taking Andrea to school on the other side. Andrea could only travel with the clothes on her back to not raise suspicions, and she still has the white sweater she wore that day, which her mother hand knitted for the trip.
I was with the lady for a couple hours. I remember she gave me chips and she was trying to be my friend, but it was really scary because I didn't know her.
She remembers the traumatic feelings of getting in a stranger's car and waving goodbye to her mom.
She said, no matter what happens, like pretend to be asleep. Don't talk to the officers. As a child, I was just told, just close your eyes, just close your eyes. And I think what was scary was that, being caught and not being able to see my dad or see my mom. I was scared that I was never gonna see them.
She made it across and met up with her father at a McDonald's as promised. Her mother came later, making the trek across the desert on foot.
But I could never tell people I was born in Mexico.
Andrea excelled at school, was a top student at Hayward High, and was accepted at UC Berkeley, where she majored in political science and legal studies. She qualified for DACA, got her degree, and recently a green card, which finally allowed her to emerge from the shadows and tell her story.
I always felt like an other person here in the U.S. Because I was born in Mexico and all those things. But then I went back to Mexico and I didn't feel like I belonged there either.
Andrea's 3 brothers are U.S.-born citizens. All college graduates are students, but their parents still do not have legal status. So, like the people Andrea works with every day, the parents who took a risk sending a child across the border to find a better life face an uncertain future of their own.